Good day and welcome to Montreal's 2024 October real estate market update, where we're going to dive into the good, the bad, and the ugly. And also, as we do as usual, look at what's sold with FSBOs versus Realtors. We're going to dive into how the market is acting, what's the actual trends, etc., etc., etc. By the way, my name is Jonathan Cabana, your real estate agent for the Greater Montreal. And if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, or relocate, all the information is in my description. Don't hesitate to give me a call so we can ask ourselves a couple of questions to see how I can possibly help. And also, if ever you're looking to get like a ballpark figure of the worth of your house, and I wouldn't sell my house on that because it's based on AI and it's not like actually someone walking into your house with buyer's eyes, you would have a link in the description where you can actually fill up some information and then get a rough value of the value of your house. So in the meantime, talk to you later and see you on the other side. All right, so welcome to the market update analysis for the month of October 2024. Again, my name is Jonathan Cabana, and I want to thank you for a second just to be here and watch this. If ever you like this, smash the like button, do add comments if you want to, and share it to people that may have that project to want to do, but want to base themselves on facts. Why? Because facts don't care about our feelings. So without any further ado, let's dive into the market. All right, so when we are diving into the data, and we're looking at the data and the facts, why? Because, well, facts don't care about your feelings. What we see is that there's been a total of 1,453 sales up this month, an augmentation of 43% in comparison to last year. Well, and that can be explained, and actually easily explained, by the fact that since the rates are going down, well, what we're seeing right now is that we have a hyperactive market where people do want to buy. In that total number, what we are seeing is that the major sales that we're seeing are condos at 55%, plexes at 17%, and single homes at 29%. We have, as of today, well, the month of October, 9,167 homes on the market, an augmentation of 11% in comparison to 2023. We do have new inscription of 2,586, an augmentation of 11% in comparison to 2023. So we're still having more and more houses on the market, which is something we do want to see if we ever want to have a stable market. But as of today, and you're going to see it when we're looking at the data, it's still a very strong seller's market. So the overview that we have right now is that, like I've said, we have 1,453 sales, an augmentation of 43%. The median price of of all the categories are as follows. The single homes, we're looking at $797,000, an augmentation of 15% in comparison to 2023. That says that and let's give ourselves a simple number. You bought a house for $100,000. Well, today you would get more like a wardrobe, but you did buy a house for $100K last year. Well, this year it's worth $115K, and you didn't put a nail in it. So it's actually only the market that tells us that there's been a lot of augmentations in terms of price and investment. So that's actually quite a good thing. When we're looking at condos, the median price is $478,000, an augmentation of 6% in comparison to 2023. And the plexes, it's still a very good value. It's $845,000 for an augmentation of 9% in comparison to last year. So this is actually quite good. Also, like described prior, we do have 9,167 homes on the market right now, an augmentation of 11% in comparison to last year. Now, when we dive into each of the categories, single homes, what we're seeing is what? We're seeing that there's been 419 sales, an augmentation 45%, and we do have 2,056 inscription on the market right now, an augmentation of 7% compared to last year. The danger that we're looking and we're always facing is the fact that we want a balanced market, and we're not seeing this right now. So this is like very strongly a seller's market. Why do I say that? Because we also see it in this year, the median price. In comparison to last year, where the rates were like higher, what we saw in comparison to this year is the market and the discrepancies between the price of last year, which went down, and this year that went up by 15%, stabilizing the median price of a house in Montreal at $797,000, which is a lot of money. What we're also seeing, though, is that for a house to sell, we're looking at a 59 days delay in comparison to last year. So an augmentation of 8 days, which is actually quite normal, in fact, because what we're seeing is that some brackets of houses can actually sell in a weekend. We're still seeing that where there's like a lot of overbidding and stuff like that. But when we're looking in bigger price range houses, what we're often seeing is that, well, it can take like from 30 days to 120 days. So seeing this is actually quite normal. And what we're seeing is that on 100% of the sales of the house, 71% were at asking price, 23% were actually negotiating under the asking price, and 6% was in overbidding. So when you're looking at the 77% range where it was or at the asking price or in overbidding, what we're seeing is that the market is still very, very strongly in favors of sellers. All right. So then when we go into condos, we're seeing about the same principle, whereas last year, right now we have 794 sales, an augmentation of 48% in comparison to last year at the same period. And that can actually translate into condos going a lot higher than what we saw last year. Again, we can put that on the back of the rates that are coming down and should also lose a couple of points again for January 2025. We have 5,571 listing, an augmentation of 15% in comparison to last year. This is something that if people are not cautious, and I always want to take a second to state this, not too long ago, Desjardins and National Bank said that they will not be lending money if people don't have the funds in condos to make sure that they can maneuver expenses if necessary. So we're talking about the law 16. They didn't apply anything to the law 141 right now, which states that you do need to have a maintenance booklet in order to make sure that you do not fall back on what needs to be done. So we're still in a very strong market for condos, but bear in mind that when you do buy or sell, this is something that needs to be looked at and make sure that it is well planned and done, so you don't get hindered or that there's nothing that backfires on you. Okay, so when we continue, we see a 62 days delay on the market, an augmentation of 5 days in comparison to last year. And when we're in that range here, we're like very, very good in terms of delay that we're selling right now. So that tells us what? It tells us that we're still very strongly, again, in a seller's market. And we see it right here. So 80% of all the condos sold were at asking price, 6% were in overbidding, and 15%, and only 15%, were under asking price. So that tells us that we're still very strongly in a seller's market. Finally, we're looking at plexes. Plexes is like, it's another beast of its own because there's a lot of investments that we're looking for. So there's 240 sales right now on the market, an augmentation of 26%. There's 1,540 plexes for sale right now on the market, an augmentation of 1%. The median price is $845,000. It got up by 9%. And again, when we're looking at the trends, what we saw in August was a steep augmentation in comparison to the other one. It was very, very low. Diminishing statistics here with the price staying the same. So again, by the fact that the rates are going down, this is a safe value for people, and people actually think that it's a good investment. So that's why we're seeing the prices being stable. What we're seeing here is that the tipping, this is the average. 67 days is the average, and this is the maximum days that a Plex should be on the market. So what we're seeing here is very, very much a stable market. So we have 67 days on the market, an augmentation of 10 days in comparison to last year. And here, again, we're looking at the stats that tells us that we're still in a seller's market because we have 68% that were at asking price, 8% in overbidding, and 24% under the asking price. Now, let's look at the overview again. So we have sold this month 1,453 sales of properties, 419 in single homes, 794 in condos, 240 in plexes. We do have 2,056 listing of homes on the market right now, 5,571 for condos, and 1,550 for plexes, for a total of 9,167. So the new inscriptions, 2,586. The median price, and this is where you actually can put a picture Like put a picture to the data. Last year, a house was worth $695,000. That same house today is actually worth a lot more, so $797,000. Same place for the condos, $478,000, and the plexes, $845. The days on the market, 59, 62, and 67. Now, I always like to do the comparison between what's sold with FSBOs and what's sold with realtors. Why? Because in Quebec, we do have like two types of sales, FSBOs and people sold for sale by owners, which actually often, if not majorly, goes with the marketing companies, proprio, and what's sold with realtors. And at the end, it doesn't matter which one you choose, but I do believe that facts, since they don't care about your feeling, are something that are worth knowing when you do want to take such an important decision. So when we look at the market in the month of October, so I took this on the 3rd of November, I went 30 days back, what sold in, this is not the right picture, give me a second here. So I will be taking, this is multi-agent, give me 1 second. This happens when you do live stuff. There we go. Okay, so Montreal. So sorry, by the way, my apologies. So we're looking at the 3rd of November. I went 30 days prior to that date, but sold on the market for the island of Montreal. And what we saw is for all the types of properties that sold, only 18 houses were actually sold on the market for the month of October with this marketing company, in comparison to 1,453 for realtors. But when you put that into perspective, what that tells us is this. On a total of 1,071 houses that were sold on the market, 18 being sold by FSBOs, 1,453 being sold with realtors, the market share of what was sold, and that's actually the most important, because houses can be on the market for years if you don't price them correctly or you don't have the right marketing strategies, etc., etc. So the average that we're looking at is 1.2%, that houses that were sold with du proprio, and 98.8% of houses were sold in the month of October with realtors. So at the end of the day, the decision always comes to you. But by having this data, what I would always do is tell myself, if I have that project, make sure I meet a couple of individuals would actually show me what they can do with the project. And if ever I still want to go, well, at least I know what I'm getting into. So in conclusion, my name is Jonathan Cabana. I hope you like the October's 2024 Montreal market update. And if ever you're moving in 9 days or 90 days and you want help with your project, all the information are in the description. Don't hesitate to give me a call so we can actually ask ourselves a couple of questions to see how I can possibly help. In the meantime, do take care, stay safe, and talk to you soon.